Yeah, so what, you're just going through some shit, so you're like, yo, I gotta dance it off? That's why you're here at the park, or like...
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like truly myself now. And so before I was quite like depressed and anxious and stuff because I wasn't like living who I truly was.
That's
Because I
fair.
had like a bad like childhood and stuff like that. And I don't know, like my family, I guess they have good intentions, but there's a lot of negative patterns that they instilled in me and stuff. And the pandemic was sort of like the breaking point
Yeah, fucked everything up.
where, yeah, like the stress just hit it where like you had to address it, right? So I basically had like, it's basically like a fight or flight, right?
Yeah.
Was it just
So-
due to like, you know, like the extra stress because of the coronavirus and isolation and just all that shit? And just
Yeah,
the
like-
life as well just fell apart then as well.
It's all the stresses. Like I was working at home. Like I've been working from home for the past like 5 years.
Okay.
Like, but then I have 2 small kids.
Yeah.
And then when the pandemic hit, they're always at home. And then my ex-wife is there too. And then she got obsessed with the pandemic. She got really fearful.
Gave into the
Yeah,
anxiety
yeah.
and fear
Yeah.
and let it take a
And I
toll.
felt like I had to overcompensate because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then that's what it was. Like the stress got to me. I couldn't do anything else, but like it was a trigger. I had to grow, or else like, you know what I mean? What else can you do, right?
100%. That's what
Yeah.
makes like strong and successful people, you know? It's either gonna make you or break you. You know, or like make you level up, evolve, you know, have an awakening, you know, label it, call it, right?
Yeah. So it's been a huge change. Like I've been doing that since like 2006.
So do you have like a
Literally.
practice? Like you like what causes spiritual awakening? Is that like, you know, did you like meditate? Did you do some drugs like he was saying, some DMT or licking toes, whatever the fuck he does? You know what I'm saying? Like what was your
It was
like obviously the
honestly,
stress and the breaking point was a part of it, but like
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
It was
Like,
marijuana mostly, yeah. But like, so
high right
marijuana,
now.
like I wasn't just looking for like high THC. It was like I wanted to get in touch with my body because I felt like all the like the negative emotions and things like that get stored in your body.
Definitely.
And I was very like hunched over, you know what I mean? All these things. Like it looked like I worked at a computer for 15
Yeah.
years. You know what I mean? So I was like all frozen up. So what I found was like marijuana. I got in touch with my body, right? So I could feel my body, and like all like sort of the negative thoughts and emotions from my childhood would come up, right? And
Yeah.
I'd be able to address them without, you know how people like run away from all their negative emotions and fears and things like that, right?
Yeah, they don't want to face it.
They don't want to face it.
Yeah.
They drown it with alcohol, drugs, or sex, or whatever it is, right?
Even work, anything. Like I was
Work, yeah.
literally, I was watching a video the other day, and I agree to this to a certain extent. But he was just saying like, everyone in life is just trying to distract themselves. That's pretty much what life is. One big distraction. Whether it's your phone, whether it's something more productive like, you know, work, or something more destructive like, you know, drugs, alcohol, whatever. But at the end of the day, everyone's to a certain extent just trying
May I
to
put
get away
my-
from something.
May I put my input on this?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I think everyone's just trying to find the happiness. Everyone's trying to find permanent happiness. They escape with, sure, they smoke weed, drink, and all that, but that makes temporary happiness. And I think in life, it does bring you struggles, but everyone's trying to escape just to have that.
They
one
want
happy
instant
point.
gratification.
Yeah, it
Where
just-
a lot of the things that are actually worthwhile, I think, aren't take a lot of effort and time. You know, but
I
don't
think
know.
so. Yeah, that's true.
You know, we that's why we want to post. You know, we like the instant. We live in the microwave generation. I know you're older than us, but you know, like
Yeah.
with social media, we live in microwave generation. We want everything like under a minute, 30 seconds. We want it now.
That's
you
it,
know what I'm
that's
saying?
all.
And we don't see the results, or we don't, whatever. Like we, you know, start self doubt, or we think it's, you know, whatever. Start questioning ourselves. But the thing is, like, anything worthwhile is going to take a long time. Like, you know, like you said, you just had a spiritual awakening, you know, and you're older than us, and so like that shit doesn't just happen overnight, right? It's something that gradually happens.
Yeah, it can happen like quickly, but it's more about like honestly, like it's hard for younger people because like you guys grown up with the internet
100%.
Internet.
and
Box, everything, I mean,
and
that's
just
it.
seeing comparing yourself always because like that's what it is, right?
Yeah,
And
no,
that
definitely.
fucks with your head so much.
Oh my God,
So
I already know,
that's
bro.
why I have a lot of empathy and compassion. You know what I mean? Because I grew up when it wasn't there, right? So I saw the transition, so I could see the trap,
Facts.
right? I can see the trap.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult, especially with the pandemic, where let's say you're a 15-year-old kid, you're locked in your house,
All
right?
you're gonna
You
do
can't
is
go
social media.
anywhere, right? Let's say you have an overprotective parent, right? So you're
Oh,
stuck
yeah.
in your house.
TikTok.
You're always on your fucking TikTok, Facebook, Instagram.
Consuming,
It's fucking with your
judging,
head, like,
comparing.
Like
Exactly,
the morphine
yeah.
you get from like the likes and everything, it gets you going, and you feel like that's life. But
Are you, I don't know how old your kids are, but you're gonna let them on social media, or do they already have social media, or like what? How you gonna? You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of hard to. How you gonna?
deny them that.
Yeah, like
it's-
I can say from personal experience. I didn't have a smartphone until after high school, which like all my friends through high school had a smartphone. Just my stepdad was real close-minded, judgmental person. Anyways, so I wasn't allowed to have a smartphone. So when I moved back to Canada after high school at 19, literally the very first thing I did was bought a smartphone. Obviously, I had an iPad Touch, but I can only use it on Wi-Fi. You know, and all the other kids had that shit.
playing
So
Fruit Ninja.
yeah, doing something, bro. But yeah, so I mean, like, knowing these concerns and like what comes with social media, and all that shit. Like, yo, what? You have kids, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know, how's that gonna play a part?
So the thing is, so they're with their mother right now, and
True.
a lot of things happen with the spiritual awakening that. So she thinks I basically am mentally unwell, okay?
Mm.
And I say I had a spiritual awakening.
I think you're cool, bro. I don't think you're.
Thank you so much.
I don't get that
Thank you
vibe.
so much. Thank you so much. But she knew me one way for like 15 years, right?
Yeah.
And that all these
When
things
that awakening
happen.
happened, it just switched. She was
Yeah,
like,
and then
oh,
she's like, "Oh, what happened?" So like I can understand her perspective, but I
Yeah.
think she's sort of like she's trying to throw me away and like erase me
Of course.
from the parents from the kids' lives and stuff.
That shit unfortunately happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes, even like my mom moved away to the States, and my dad lived here in London, so like he wasn't really a part of my. He couldn't be. I lived in the States. You know, like 'cause that's where I went to high school.
From what age to what
So-
age did this happen?
I went to elementary here. Probably moved away like 6th grade.
6th grade.
Yeah, and then I didn't come back till after high school. I did visit once. She sent me to go live with him once.
For how long was it? Well, that's
A year.
weird.
But he lived in the Booley.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Yeah.
lived in, I lived in the hood. Literally the
for
hood
1 year.
for a year, and I was like, fuck that. Send me back to Utah. Send me back to the States. But it's good to have those things, you know.
Yeah. Different perspectives, different experiences, for sure.
Yeah. So I mean,
Oh,
I
that's
understand that, like
interesting, yeah.
trying to like what you said, trying to remove you from the equation. It seems.
Yeah.
Which is wrong because people they're not thinking about what effect they're gonna have on their kids. Because you need a father figure. You need that. You know, it's a yin to the yang. It's female and male. It's two sides of the same coin. You need that energy. So if you just remove that or don't let your kids have that, like, how's that gonna take a toll on them? You know. But,
That's the truth, man. That's why I value like talking to somebody like you who has that experience, who went through it, because I can look at my kid's perspective, right?
mm-hmm.
Because it's no longer about me anymore. Like I'm trying to be very high about it, right? Think about my kids, right? So
course.
I'm just trying to be like the most adult I can about it
Yeah, man.
and address it from my kid's perspective. And it's just like whatever there's mother's trying to do, I'm just trying to like not mess with the kids, and I just wait. It's all about time, just waiting for that time when they do mature and they can see my perspective, right?
Maybe they'll reach out to
Yeah,
you, or maybe like, no, I'm gonna go live with dad. You know, like,
Exactly, yeah.
why do you? And that's the thing. It can totally turn around and slap her in the face. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can come back and work the opposite way. Like, you didn't let me see him for so long, or you were trying to not whatever. Let me have that connection. I want to see what he's really about. And so they might, because that's what happens right now. I have some people. Their parents are so strict, they rebel so hard.
Exactly.
They go the opposite direction because you've had too many rules, or you're just, I don't know, you won't let them be.
It's truth, man.
Yeah.
It's truth. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
the
bro.
truth, dude.
So wait, did you always smoke weed, or was it like a newer
Well-
thing? Or but now it's like for like a different reason. As before, you just smoked it maybe to get stoned, but now, like you said, like the body and like
Yeah, it helped a lot with the healing and stuff. I just felt like I was able to like address those issues that I wouldn't be able to if not. You know what I mean? I know. It just felt like I was into like a meditative state,
yeah,
and then these things would come up, and then I'd feel it in my body, and if I would relax my body and like work that stuff out,
yeah.
then I would actually work out those negative emotions
So
in my head. You know?
Did it force
So-
you to like deal with it?
Exactly.
Like it's
yeah.
like puts you in the forefront, and it's like, yo, bro, you got to deal with this.
That's why I feel with like weed. Like you can't run away from your problems with weed because you'll have a bad trip, right? You'll have a bad trip. So that's like my challenge. Like I'll just like smoke as much weed as I can, and if I could deal with my shit, then I'm like I'm good. You know what I mean?
I like that. I like that.
Yeah. So it's like
that shit puts you in a place.
exactly.
And you're like, yo, if I can deal with that, I can deal
You're
with
good. Exactly.
life. Or-
Because it's not the same with like alcohol, right? Because
Yeah.
like drinking a bunch of alcohol, like you're sort of drowning away your pain, and like you wake up, you feel shitty, and you didn't actually address anything, right?
yeah, yeah.
But with weed, it's like you're gonna have a bad trip if you don't actually address your stuff. So
Facts.
it's just like always addressing and always being aware. So that's what it is, man. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's one good thing about drugs. Because like we were talking about earlier, like distractions and all that stuff, but some substances, they make you face stuff. And so maybe if you normally wouldn't do that, it could help. And that's exactly, sounds like what it did for you.
Exactly.
Sounds awesome, bro.
So same thing with like mushrooms or other kinds of
Oh,
things,
yeah.
right? So
Definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you don't even gotta, I know a lot of people like to like take a lot, but sometimes you only need even a little to, help with certain things, just depending on what you're going through. But
true,
yeah.
man. True.
Yo, it's nice talking to you. What's your name again? One more time?
Mikesh.
Mikesh?